You are taking a live look right now of our Metro Cam. Kentuckiana is under a winter weather advisory as the temperatures are set to drop to dangerous levels tomorrow. Thanks for joining us here at 6:30. I'm Alex Dieter. We're joined with meteorologist Austin Evans. And Austin, we can see some of that white behind us. Some snow chances also coming our way.
Yes, we actually are keeping an eye on the snow that's moving right through Salem, Madison, Newcastle, and about to move into the Louisville Metro at this time. And I'm mentioning it because the National Weather Service is mentioning it, but it's a fairly heavy band of snow. Now, I'm not expecting major accumulations out of it. We're still only expecting up to an inch, maybe two in some isolated locations, but you can see the darker blue forming right here. That's some very heavy snowfall that's moving through. Of course, the main story of the forecast today is going to be the dangerous cold, but also visibility is dropping just north of Louisville. So if you got to travel into southern Indiana within the next little bit, you got to use a lot of caution when doing so. Now, here's the three things to know. We're getting very cold across Kentuckiana. We'll discuss that in a moment, and that is what is next, the dangerously cold conditions through tomorrow. We will thaw out next week with some rain. We'll have to cross that bridge, though, when we get there. Here's the 24-hour temperature change for the Ohio Valley. We haven't quite seen that move in. You can see how low the visibility is in Scottsburg right now in southern Indiana. It's part of our Shriners Children's Hospital camera network. We're in the lower 30s here in the metro, but in Seymour, it's already 17, Bedford 20, and you can see the direction of the wind. That is how we are going to get so cold. Dropping down, it's going to be colder than that number 11. It's going to be colder by 7 o'clock. Dangerous cold on the way. The details in my forecast.
All right, thank you, Austin. And as we reach those freezing temperatures, we have some tips on how to protect your pipes and avoid a massive plumbing bill. It's recommended to keep your kitchen and bathroom cabinet doors open. That creates warm air circulation around the pipes. You're also advised to leave a trickle of water running in pipes that tend to freeze. And outside, it's helpful to disconnect your hoses and insulate all outside faucets. We'll be bringing you the latest updates on the additional snow chances and dangerous temperatures throughout this weekend. For extended forecasts, you can download the free WHAS11 Plus app on your TV. Some breaking news here from Rhode Island at 6:30. Multiple injuries have been confirmed from an active shooter situation near Brown University, with 2 confirmed fatalities at this moment. According to school officials, Brown and Providence police along with EMS are all on the scene. Brown put out an alert reporting a shooter near the engineering building, directing students to shelter in place. Then a second alert initially said a suspect was in custody, but a follow-up clarified that no arrest had been made and the suspect is not in custody. Police have confirmed multiple shooting victims, but did not provide any further information on their injuries and conditions. We're going to continue monitoring these updates as more information comes in. And here at 6:30, a man is dead following a shooting in the Algonquin neighborhood earlier this afternoon. LMPD was called to reports of a shooting off South 10th Street. That's not far from Central Park around 3 p.m. LMPD says they found a man in his 30s in the back seat of a vehicle who had been shot multiple times. EMS tried to save the man, but he did die at the scene. LMPD's homicide unit is now investigating, and you're encouraged to call the anonymous tip line at 574-LMPD if you have any information relating to the shooting. The Louisville Fire Department is also investigating after a vacant community center caught fire in the Parkland neighborhood early this morning. Around 2:30, fire crews responded to the fire off Catalpa Street, not far from the Parkland Library. There was a large fire on the top floor of the vacant church community center. Louisville Fire says it was a 2-alarm fire, and it took 49 firefighters and 8 engines 2.5 hours to get the blaze under control. No one was injured. We're continuing our coverage of JCPS Superintendent Brian Yearwood's proposal to close and consolidate some of the district's schools in order to tackle the multi-million-dollar budget deficit. Earlier this week, JCPS leaders voted unanimously to put the proposal on pause after an influx of negative feedback from parents teachers, and staff. According to JCPS board members, more time was needed to reassess plans to address the district's $188 million budget deficit. Reverend Dr. Corey Scholl, who's the board chair, spoke about the issue on Moral Side of the News.
If I could make a wish, it would be that emotions would be settled a bit, that tempers would cool a bit, and we actually focus on the numbers. What does it take to run this school district? How did we get into this position? Have a real conversation about it, and also have a conversation about what type of public education system do we want in Louisville.
Superintendent Yearwood says that despite the delay, JCPS still needs to find a way to close the deficit and that the district is, quote, looking at every possible angle. A Park Duval Catholic Church will have its last Mass tomorrow. This decision to close Immaculate Heart of Mary off Lewis Coleman Jr. Drive was made amid declining attendance. WHAS11's Clarice Shaley hears this church was not the only one to close in the metro within the year.
It is
a church family.
It is sad,
sits together.
but it's also hopeful because we made this decision.
This is one of the last few moments they have in their church, Immaculate Heart of Mary, before it closes. A suggestion the Catholic group brought to the Archdiocese of Louisville because of low membership and low finances.
Painfully, we just had to make a decision how we could continue a legacy in Western Louisville.
After over 70 years, church members suggested moving to St. Martin de Porres off West Broadway to continue honoring the founders of their church. This is happening while the Archdiocese of Louisville is in what is called an expansive parish planning process.
Throughout all of our history, the church has always been involved in planning how is the best way we can provide pastoral care.
Dr. Brian Reynolds, Chancellor with the Archdiocese of Louisville, says Immaculate Heart of Mary is the third church to close this year, joining Christ the King on South 44th Street and St. Therese in Germantown. In Louisville, Clarice Shaley, WHAS 11 on your side.
Dr. Reynolds tells us he thinks there will be some closings and merging of churches in the future, along with growth of facilities and a new church as well. Well, a wreath now sits at every veteran's grave inside Zachary Taylor National Cemetery. This accomplishment follows a final push from the Wreaths Across America campaign to place a wreath on every one of the over 11,400 burial sites, remembering the sacrifices of fallen veterans as the holiday season gets underway. Volunteers gathered to place the wreaths earlier today, reportedly breaking attendance records. Brownsboro Hardware and Paint was one of several organizations serving as fundraisers for the event, and we heard from the owner about what made this year's ceremony stand out to him.
What I've learned with this particular campaign is for younger people to understand the sacrifice that these men and women made and to understand the importance of it and that freedom is not free. This is a great learning experience for young children. You know, I saw tons of them over at the event, and it's a great way for them to understand that, you know, we are where we are because of these people.
This is just the second time Wreaths Across America was able to place a wreath at every single gravesite inside Zachary Taylor Cemetery. Well, all eyes are on the Yum Center tonight as the U of L Cards take on the Memphis Tigers. But tonight's matchup isn't just about the game. It's also about honoring the 1975 Final Four team in life of Cards legend Junior Bridgeman, recognizing the impact he left here in Louisville. Bridgman's number 10 jersey was retired during the game today, making it just the 6th jersey retired in Louisville men's basketball history. U of L staff also wore pins to honor Bridgman, and commemorative items were available for fans to buy, all of those proceeds benefiting the West End School, where Bridgman served as a founding member. His wife and children were there at the Yum Center today, taking part in the ceremony and honoring the Louisville legend.
We stand here humbled and honored. Since 1972, you have embraced our Father. Now, as his jersey rises today, we will continue to not only honor the man, but honor the player who walked in faith humbly. And so we will continue that honor and that legacy. Thank you.
Bridgeman died back in March of this year after years of philanthropy and service to the Louisville community.